Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're gonna do a deck recipe, deck highlight, whatever we wanna call it. Today we're gonna be covering the new Midnight Hunt Commander, Lenore, what's her name? Lenore Autumn's Sovereign. That's who we're gonna do a deck tech for. So let me fetch out the list. I'm gonna go find it. Wait, what is that? Is that a full moon? Oh no, it's a full moon. I forgot. Now you will see my most terrifying form. I shall transform to an entity of pure horror. Behold, I shall ascend to my final form as the avatar of terror. Haha! Behold, I am now terrifying. Bark bark. Today we are not gonna be covering the weak organic human commander. No, we have a much better commander to be covering. It is Tovolar, the werewolf commander. Yes, let's go take a look. Let's go see what that deck is like. Bark bark. Today's deck is Tovolar, Dire Overlord, new werewolf commander from Midnight Hunt. Yes. Being a werewolf, he has two sides, so we're gonna take a look at both sides as a reminder. On the front, he's a 3-mana, 3/3 legendary human werewolf. Whenever a wolf or werewolf you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Bark bark. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 or more wolves or werewolves, it becomes night. And then you transform any number of human werewolves you control. It also is daybound, so when it ETBs, it becomes day. The whole daybound, nightbound mechanic or day-night mechanic enters the game. And if you flip him, then he's a werewolf on the back. With the same static ability of drawing cards, he's now bigger as a 4/4, and also he has Keswick Wolf Run activation ability. So X and green-red. Target wolf or werewolf you control gets +X/+O and gains trample until end of turn. Bark bark. So being in gruul, I wanted to keep with my current theme of Winconless beatdown decks. They're not specifically stacks, but they have stacks elements. Being in gruul, I think there's a couple combos we could have put in here. We can play Dual Caster Mage Twin Flame or Heat Shimmer. We can also have like a Kiki Jiki combo. We can also do a Snoop combo. So I've seen all of those being played in Tovolar, but I wanted to purely leverage the strong kind of like bodies that werewolves have. Yes, bark bark. And also use the ability that Tovolar has with his activation on the back to just kind of like win the game through beats. Beats is good. Don't let people trick you and say beats are bad. Beats are good now. Bark bark. Let's talk a little bit more about Tovolar and the play style, or how I expect this deck to play. I think something kind of cool about Tovolar is that he's kind of like Gruul Yuriko. You play to a tribe, and then when you deal damage with your tribal creatures, you draw a card, kind of like Yuriko in that sense. Yuriko doesn't draw. Yuriko also just deals damage to everyone. So a little different. Also, Yuriko's blue-black, so a little different there. But kind of cool. Same kind of like playstyle. You want cheap werewolves or wolves to quickly play them out to start setting up the draw engine, and then afterwards it's what we want to do as a deck. So just quick little playstyle thing. I think we'll talk about a little bit more, but kind of interesting to think about. So today's deck is Winconless beatdown, and I think it was a little more difficult to brew than the other Winconless decks I've brewed before. If you haven't seen it, there's a Hand in Hand, bark bark, and also Timna Kamal. I did not brew that. Just made a video about it, but that's a great Winconless beatdown deck. And not having Rule of Law or Deafening Silence to attack the meta definitely makes brewing this one a little more difficult. So yeah, so let's get into it. Being in red-green, definitely highlights how important white is. I know we always make fun of white for being underpowered, but it really highlights how useful white is for stacks and disruption. So not having access to a lot of the staples in white to help us disrupt the table and remove their advantages makes it a little difficult to brew a deck that wants to create a situation or a board state where you can end the game through beats. But we still found something, so let's start with that first. Our Stax Suite have things like Chalice of the Void. Chalice is great. Chalice on 0 is a great play. I think you can also Chalice for 2 to protect against Psygrift, protect against Thoracle, a lot of things. Underworld Breach 2 is a very good number. Yes, bark bark. And then Collector Oof is another good card. If you haven't played against Oof or experienced it somehow, you'll know how painful, or if you did, you'll know how painful Oof is. Oof is the real monster in this list, along with Null Rod. You'll see that we're playing Null Rod here, so that means the amount of artifact mana we should generate should be pretty low. So that's kind of something that we built into the deck, is trying to not have too much artifact mana, so that the Null Rod and Collector Oof doesn't hurt ourselves too much. It doesn't oof us, but we still need to play these rocks. So we have artifact disruption. We also have Torpor Orb. I really like Torpor Orb right now. Torpor Orb shuts off a lot of really relevant things. cEDH has a surprising amount of ETB triggers that are very valuable, and taking them away is very, very impactful. So the most notable one that you're all thinking of right now is Thoracle, also Dockside. But once you take away ETBs, your opponents can't do things like Gilded Draking your creatures too. So there's a lot of things. Eventually, like as players start playing against a Torpor Orb more, they might realize there's a lot of things that are impacted by it, which is why Torpor Orb is a great stacks card right now. Trinisphere is another good one. Come on, go to Trinisphere. Trinisphere is another great one because it just turns all the cheap cards from storm spells into 3 mana spells, which makes it significantly harder for them to combo out, which also works similarly to Dampening Sphere. Damping Sphere makes it where every additional spell a player plays costs 1 more for each other spell they've played that turn. So it makes Storm basically, I think, impossible. Maybe impossible, unless you have a lot of mana to win. There's also the part on Damping Sphere where if a land is tapped for 2 more mana, it produces colorless instead of any other type and amount, so just makes that 1 colorless. This is gonna hurt us a little bit, but we're gonna have to take some of the pain. We're gonna take some of the pain if we need to find ways to disrupt the meta that way. There's also Void Mirror. Usually I'm not a big fan of Void Mirror, but we don't have white. We don't have the white tools for oppression. so we're gonna have to play with Void Mirror. Void Mirror makes it where whenever a player plays a spell, if no colored mana was spent, you counter that spell. So just useful to stop like LED, stop Force of Wills, stop a couple things. And it's not going to be something we're going to keep a hand on, but it's definitely something we'll be happy to see as our secondary stacks piece. Also, we have Karn, the Great Creator, an asymmetrical artifact hate to go with Collector Oof and Null Rod. So we're definitely trying to hate on the players who are relying on artifact mana. Then we also have Manglehorn. When Manglehorn ETBs, you destroy an artifact, but also artifacts your opponent's control enter the battlefield tapped. So it takes away an opponent's ability to play a Dockside and immediately use those treasures. It buys the table 1 more turn, and sometimes that's pretty critical. Also takes them off of Mana Vault and other things like that. Then lastly, we have Blood Moon and Magus of the Moon. So Blood Moon, like moon effects, have been very okay lately in cEDH. Because a lot of the good spells are in red now, and Dockside is the best ritual color fixer that you can possibly have. So moon effects are very, very mediocre now. But again, we don't have the white tools of systematic oppression. So what we need to do is we need to rely on things like this as well. So kind of like Void Mirror, this is something I won't keep a hand on, but I would be happy to see if it's a secondary stacks piece. When I like to play stacks, I try and find like the main stacks piece I need to stop the table with. So if For example, if I know a Null Rod is something I really want to mull into, that's going to be what I'm going to focus on. But then Blood Moon and also things like Void Mirror and maybe like Damping Sphere or Grafdigger's Cage, all those different things or secondary effects just kind of makes it a little more difficult for your opponents to break out of the lock or break out of your stacks, which I think is very valuable. So for example, you take away their mana rocks and they're trying to get the Chain of Vapor to bounce the Null Rod, but then all their lands are now mountains, so they have to find a way to either get an Abrade or maybe they rely on that, or they can't get that Dockside. So you can see how we're trying to build like follow through like a main plan and use these supporting stacks pieces to control the board and kind of corner our opponents to make certain plays, which I think is will help us in this situation. Yes. But that's enough about stacks. The rest of the deck is pretty standard. We're not gonna really explore the lands. The most important land here is Gaia's Cradle. Reason why Gaia's Cradle is important in here is because Tovolar is a mana dump. So Gaia's Cradle is generally good, but extra good here because we can turn Gaia's Cradle into our Wincon. So that's great. Then what else? Dorks, nothing, or the mana options here, nothing too much to talk about except for Somberwall Sage. Somberwall Sage I kind of like because some of the creatures here are going to be a little pricey, so generally useful. And also we're missing another one. It's over here, Shaman of the Forgotten Ways. So another way to make mana for creatures, another mana dork that's a little expensive, but the upside is that it has Formidable, so it can be a Wincon to help buy over them the table. So that's the dorks, and that's the lands. And let's talk about interaction real quick. I'm trying to get through all the basic stuff so we can get into the interesting things. So for the interaction, we have a Braid, Deflecting Slot, Endurance to get rid of, to shuffle like graveyards back in to stop Thoracle Winds, Force of Vigor. I think the thing to talk about here is that Tovolar is going to keep your hand stacked, so Force of Vigor is going to be a little easier to cast. It's going to be awkward if you have a Damping Sphere. No, it's not Damping Sphere. Void Mirror, but that's fine. Crossing Grip, you're wondering, wow, why are you playing Crossing Grip? This really truly is a high power deck now, isn't it? Bark, bark. But no. Actually, I didn't have enough. I didn't know what to put into the deck anymore. I had some slots, but I also like Crossing Grip right now because players are playing really safely in my metas. They're playing a little more reactively, kind of holding more cards and more interaction to protect their breaches. So Crossing Grip I'm kind of valuing now. I kind of like Crossing Grip. Also, we're just gonna be drawing a lot of cards, playing a board, and maybe relying, just like kind of chilling with just with beats. So having a 3 mana uncounterable artifact disruption, or just like non-messable artifact or enchantment disruption is strong. I think just kill you let them go through the breach, let them crack the LED, let them cast their first spell, then you Crossing Grip their Underworld Breach, and I'm pretty sure you become the monster. Yes, embrace the monster inside you. Moonlight Hunt is a very spicy interaction. So you choose target creature you don't control. Each creature you control that's a wolf or werewolf deals damage equal to its power to the creature. So there's creature removal. That's kind of like a fight, but not a fight. So I like it. Kill Croms. Kill, I don't know, other big booty things. Get them. Bark, bark. Then we have Natural State, Nature's Claim, the Shatter Skull Smashing just for the land. Tibalt's Trickery, totally safe card, totally safe. There's no way, absolutely no way that you can Tibalt's Trickery something into like a Razaketh or an Adnos, so we don't even talk about that. This I'm not a big fan of, actually. You could probably replace it with like a Pyroblast or like a Red Blast. Yeah, you could replace this with anything, it's just whatever. Then Uvenwall Tracker, I like this. This is a repeatable removal, creature removal, because generally I expect your creatures are going to be bigger than most of the other creatures on the board. So with an Uvenwall Tracker, you can consistently take out dorks, consistently take out other creatures, which I think is valuable because it comes at no expense from your hand. It just comes at the expense of 2 mana and tapping this creature down. So yeah, that's the interaction. And what else? What else? All right, let's get into the wolves. Let's get into the tribal synergy. So for the werewolves, I played werewolves at a little higher CMC just because I really want to find the ones that will become useful but also be good beaters. So it's not just all the 1-drops to draw cards to combo out, but I do actually want to I want to use these as beaters. So we'll go through each one of them. Breakneck Rider, you might be wondering why. 3 mana, 3/3, and then there's nothing special about him, which sounds kind of sad, bark bark, but he's very special because when you turn Breakneck Rider, what happens? Attacking creatures you control get +1/+0 and trample. So Anthem, the Anthem effect here is not a real Anthem, but it's a buff. The buff effect is nice. I like having buffs. Another reason why I miss white right now, surprising how much I miss white, is there's not that many great Anthem effects to develop your board and make it turn your board into the win con. So anything I can take here that can give that effect is very, very valued. Conduit of Storms, I like just because it's a werewolf that gives me mana after the second main phase, so you're going to be drawing cards off of Tovolar, and Conduit of Storms gives you mana to spend to put some of those cards down, so pretty cool, pretty good, cool. Then we have Daybreak Ranger. I like Daybreak Ranger because Daybreak Ranger shoots things, deals 2 damage to target creature flying, so you can just kill birds, kill swans. There's some things you can hit. I think, yeah, there's a bunch of other things you can hit. Normally things that you don't really care about, but if you really want to kill Stax creatures, some of them are flying and have small enough booties. But if you flip Daybreak Ranger, what happens? What happens? Bark bark. Daybreak Ranger becomes Nightfall Predator, and you tap a red, and Nightfall Predator fights, becomes a predator of the night and fights whatever you want it to fight. So being a 4/4, this will kill a Crom if you really needed to kill a Crom. But yeah, I like having another fight effect. It's cool. Then we have Duskwatch Recruiter, a card that I recognize from old Coco lists on Standard Collected Company. Just a nice 2-drop werewolf that also gives you some value, so you can, if you have mana to spend, you leave all your mana up. At end step you can pay 3, look at the top 3, and then put a creature card into your hand. So pretty cool. And if you flip them, creature spells you cast cost 1 less, which is okay. It's probably helpful, but the main attraction here is the front side where you can get more cards. Hound Tamer, also another seemingly like okay werewolf, but what I like about it is that it's 3 mana, but it's a mana dump. So Tovolar is a temporary buff, but Hound Tamer permanently puts a +1/+1 on a creature. So I do like that. If we have cycles where we have some mana to spend, we leave our mana up, then we can put that into investing into our board and making our werewolves bigger. You can even do it to Tovolar himself. So I like that a lot. If you flip them, other wolves and werewolves you control have trample, and it still has the same effect. So you don't lose that after he Hound Tamer flips. So I like that one too. Then we have Howlpack Resurgence. Each creature you control that's a wolf or werewolf gets +1/+1 and trample and has flash. So another Anthem effect, but it has flash. So that's pretty cool. And what I do like about this tribe so far is everything has trample, so none of the damage that players try and chump block with will be wasted. You know, you always get some damage through. We also have Huntsmaster of the Fells. The main reason why I want to play this deck is I get to play my Huntsmaster again. I played him in the first Innistrad Standard. What a bomb! I used to play him in some Jund sideboards too, as like a mid-range, like, I don't know, whatever, anti-mid-range card. But Huntsmaster of the Fells, 4 mana, 2/2. Whenever this creature ETBs or transforms you into Huntsmaster, you make a 2/2 green wolf and you gain 2 life, which is, the gain 2 life is okay. It might come in handy, but the wolf I think is very useful because that's more board state and no mana investment. And then if on the backside, trample, whenever it flips, it deals 2 damage to target opponent and 2 damage up to 1 target creature that player controls. So a nice way to like kill a dork, then also have a 4/4 trample. If you manage to flip it back, you get another werewolf. So just Huntsmaster of the Fells on their own gives you a lot of stuff. So I like that. I like that card. 4 mana is a little expensive, but I think for 4 mana that's a pretty good effect. We have Immerwolf, 3 mana wolf with Intimidate. Other wolves and werewolves you control at +1/+1. And then non-human werewolves you control can't transform. Not a problem. The only one I think is Conduit of Storms. There's also this one, but we don't want to transform. We don't care. We don't care. We're playing them for different reasons. So another nice little lord effect will draw us a card. So I like Immerwolf. Also Intimidate matters. It's harder to block. We have Kessig Naturalist. Whenever Kessig Naturalist attacks, you get a red or a green. Until end of turn, you don't lose that as steps and phases end. It'll go away after the turn, but after combat you can use it, so kind of like Conduit of Storms, which is pretty nice. And how do I flip this? I cannot flip this. I have flipped it. So Naturalist becomes the Lord of the Ovenwald. Other wolves and werewolves get +1/+1, and you still keep the mana that you get that effect. So another lord. You can see I spend a lot of effort into trying to find things to make our board stay big, so that our dumb little 1/1s end up being like 4/4s, which can close out a game a lot faster than you expect, especially when Tovolar can pump. We have Kessig Prowler. Nothing too special. It's just a 1 mana 1/1 or 1 mana 2/1 werewolf for us to draw cards off of. Then we have Cruin Outlaw. Cruin Outlaw is first strike, 3 mana 2/2. And then what happens when you flip them? What happens when you flip? When you flip the Outlaw, they turn into Terror of Cruin Pass, so double strike, 3/3. Each werewolf you control can't be blocked except by they gain Menace, so makes all your creatures harder to block, but it itself will connect for 6 damage, which is pretty massive. Actually, pretty massive, so I like that. We have Master of the Wild Hunt, 4 mana, another 4 mana creature. 3/3. At the beginning of your upkeep, you make a 2/2 wolf token. Then you tap Master of the Wild Hunt and tap all untapped wolf creatures you control, and each of those wolves deal damage equal to that creature. And then, wait, is it a fight? I think it's a fight. I don't remember anymore. Each wolf tapped this way is dealt damage. Yeah, it's a fight. So yeah, it's kind of like Ovenwald Tracker, but except you get to make wolves every turn for free, and then just tapping Master of the Wild Hunt will remove a lot of problematic creatures. So I like that effect. Another way to control the battlefield. Controlling the battlefield is very important for a deck like this. You can't let your opponents develop too much of a board because you rely on having controlling the board with your creatures and connecting. So stuff like this is very, very valuable. Stuff like this and Ovenwald Tracker. Maybe even play a Domri raid, actually. So something to think about if you want to tune this deck. Outland Liberator is a great werewolf, 2 mana, 2/2. You can tap 1, sacrifice it, and destroy an Underworld Breach. That's what you can do with that. But if you flip it, it gets even better. If you flip, where's the flip? If you flip them to Frenzied Trapbreaker, you can still sacrifice that command to destroy a thing, but also when they attack, you destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls as a 3/3. So this is useful because this is just free artifact or enchantment removal. You're using this to break their mana rocks turn after turn, while you're also playing things like Trinisphere and stuff like that. So I think this really fits with our plan well, and also can be used on command to destroy Underworld Breach. So very, very useful, I think. Reckless Stormseeker is a 3 mana werewolf. Some of you might be wondering why I'm playing this one. I like it because at the beginning of combat, target creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains haste. So it can attack automatically when it comes in, but also means your other werewolves you're playing afterwards can start connecting and drawing you cards. And also it pumps them by 1, which can be handy. You can play this with then Terror of the Cruin Pass, and that deals 8 whole damage. So that's useful. I like it. And also if you flip them, then it gets +2/+0 in trample and haste. So it's also a 3/4. So pretty good stats. Giving you +2/+0 in trample and haste is useful, I think. So that's why I like it. A lot of these things I'm showing you right now, they give you advantage after you play them. You don't need to spend any more mana on them if you can flip them. So you getting +2/+0, getting double strike, getting a thing that destroys creatures, all those little effects will combine together with the Stax effects you have to help you control the board that way. That's something I learned from Hand in Hand, and that's something I'm hoping will play out well in this deck as well. So that's kind of some of the thoughts behind this deck. But another reason why to play this deck is you finally get to play Reckless Waif in cEDH. Look at that waifu right there. Who doesn't wanna play this awesome waifu? 1 mana, 1/1. But if you flip them, then they're a 3/2. That's it. But they're waifu material, so that's why we play them. The next card is Silver for Partisan. Trample, 3 mana, 2/2. Whenever a wolf or werewolf you control becomes a target of an instant sorcery, you get a 2/2 wolf token. So, I don't think this is super necessary, but it's kind of helpful. If they try and blow up your Reckless Wife or whatever, that you get a wolf back, and the wolf will help you draw more cards. So, kind of useful that way. Not bad. Taurian Mauler, I like a lot. Is a changeling. It's because at 3 mana, 2/2, basically an Ishai-like effect. Whenever someone plays a spell, it gets a +1/+1 counter, or whenever an opponent plays a spell. So this scales very well in Commander because of all the other players. So if you find a way to give this trample, this can close the game really fast. If you've seen my game where I play what Hydra was it? When my Time game where I play like a turn 1 Hydra and that became the threat, like you'll see how strong something like this can get in cEDH, so that's that. We have Universal Automaton as another changeling, just another 1 drop to help us draw cards. And then lastly, we have Village Messenger, a 1 mana, 1/1 haste, another way to draw cards, another werewolf. And what happens when you flip him? When you flip him, he's a 2/2 with Menace, so helps connect a little bit, draw us a little more cards, and hopefully we'll get big from our effects. So that's our wolves and werewolves. That's our tribal synergy. Bark bark. Lastly, we're gonna look at some utility cards that we have in this deck, and also another win con in here. For utility, I have Augur of Autumn, 3 mana, 2/3. You can look at the top card of your library anytime, and you can play lands from the top. But with Coven, you can play creatures off the top. So this is just good value. I saw this played in pre-release, and it was very strong. So I liked it. So I wanna try it out. We have a lot of creatures in this list, so it might be useful. And also it's very important in this kind of deck to make sure you hit your land drops. Just because you're gonna be playing all your creatures, you want to make sure you have enough mana to do the things you need to do. You can't cheat with a lot of mana rocks like Storm decks or whatever. So it's important to hit your land drops, and that's why drawing cards is important, because it makes sure you're playing on curve. Court of Calling, just a nice little creature tutor. We know how that works. Court of Calling is here. I think most likely help us get Collector Oof or what is it? Magus of the Moon if we need it. But not super necessary. Crop Rotation is important here. Crop Rotation helps us get Gaia's Cradle. Gaia's Cradle's good. Also, in a pinch, we can use this to get Scavenger Grounds to exile a graveyard. So Crop Rot is just good utility. Druid's Repository is an interesting card I put here because we're going to be attacking a lot. I wanted to try this out because this gives us mana. This rewards us for attacking. We're getting more mana, drawing more cards, playing more things, which is a good reason why we don't have a rule of law in this, because we're finding ways to ramp, have mana, and then spend our cards. We want to spend as many cards as we can at sorcery speed to build up a big enough board to then let us play reactively. So I think it's very important for us to explore ways to generate mana and play on curve. Ewit just gets things back, nothing special. Exploration is something I think is useful here because, as I said, we're drawing a lot of cards, or hopefully drawing a lot of cards. So exploration means that if we draw a lot of lands, we just instantly start setting up for a better turn, playing more lands each turn. So I like exploration here. Green Sun either finds us a werewolf or just finds us Collector Oof again, so nothing special there. Imperial Recruiter, same thing as the other creatures here. Imperial Recruiter basically finds everything in this deck, so if you want to control the board of a tracker or Master of the Wild Hunt, you can get Hunt's Master, you can get Daybreak Ranger, basically everything that's useful you can get with Imperial Recruiter, so I thought it was pretty cool. We also have Dockside, so don't forget that. Rex Age is another way to destroy artifacts, and you can also find out if Imperial Recruiter or Court of Calling, so useful. Scooz is useful. If we play a Scooz and have mana up, we can just start eating everything from graveyards, which makes it difficult for players to set up a board to either set up a graveyard to either reanimate or play for breach. Oh yeah, that's that. Sylvan Scrying is another card to find Gaia's Cradle, but also I'm kind of big on sorcery speed. Ramp spells right now at 2 mana. I think it's okay. We're trying to just get more lands out. Lands are most likely not disrupted. You can't Linvala them. You can't null rot them. The only thing we worry about is Armageddon, but only Charles plays that, so we can dodge our matchup there. So kind of okay on Sylvan's Grind. Turn Timber Symbiosis is just another free card we play because it's a land, so we play him. Vivian, Champion of the Wilds, I like because it gives all our creatures flash, so lets us play reactively. But also, I think the +1 is kind of useful. I like being able to have reach, and also the Vigilance is very useful. Vigilance is I've been really, really high on after playing hand in hand, so yeah, I like that. And also in a pinch, you can use the minus ability to get more creatures, so not bad. Worldly Tutor, just another way to get Collector Oof or a utility creature, so nothing too special there. Then I have Beastmaster Ascension over here as a win con, so we're gonna be attacking a lot. So what we want is to have something like this as a super big anthem to turn all our creatures to get +5/+5, and hopefully end the game that way. We don't have a combo, so we do have to find ways to end the game faster, because the idea is we're trying to draw out the game and make the game last a little longer. So we need to also find ways to clip the game's time and end it, so that it doesn't go too long where the opponents can then sculpt and find their way out. So things like this is useful. Yes. In the bottom of the list, I also have a considering board of things, so you can take a look at things that this originally was Rurik Thar, so I took out all the things that I did not want from Rurik Thar, and you can move them back in. I do kind of want Possibility Storm back in here, so I might replace Tybalt's Trickery, and we also might want to have things like Thorn Amethyst too. So yeah, this deck definitely could use some more tuning, I think, but so far I'm kind of interested in where it's going. And I just want to also demonstrate a couple hands and see how I would play this, so we get a better idea what it's like. So let's go take a look. Bark bark. I'm over here now. Okay, we're in the playtest zone. So here's our first hand. It's actually not bad. There's a turn 2 Tovolar, turn 1 Changeling with a Vivian. The Vivian can help us get more creatures. We can already start pumping our Werewolves +1/+1 and Trample. But the issue is that we don't have any stacks at all, so it's a little risky if we're playing into a pod where we don't expect our opponents to be able to answer a storm deck. Then maybe we have to ship this. But if we expect that there's going to be a little bit of interaction, this is actually a pretty good hand to keep, because we can rely on our opponents to interact with each other for the first turn or two if it really has to happen, and we can develop our board. So I'm going to keep it and see how it goes. So draw a card. Oh, nice, it's a Augur of Autumn. So play land, play the thingy, play this. I'll discard the forest. No, I'll discard this one, just in case I have a moon. And then turn 2, draw a card, play the forest, and then we'll play Tovolar, connect, draw a card, and then next turn is turn 3. We have Tracker, which is pretty good, so I'm gonna play this one. I will crack it, look for whatever. Let's get a Stomping Ground. Stomping Ground, just to make it faster. Take a Stomping Ground. And then what do we do here? So we can play the Howlpack Resurgence, but right now we're not worried about connecting yet. We don't have a board to really race with it yet, so we're not gonna play that. We have Augur of Autumn, which is kind of good. Actually, I kind of like the Augur of Autumn. We also have mana for the Uvenwall Tracker, so I think that's the plan. But before we do any of that, we're connect first. Draw 2. Oh, there's a Tybalt's Trickery, so we might want to leave mana open for that. We might want to play Shaman Forgotten Ways. But you know what? Let's be a little greedy here, because being able to set this board state up, I think, is quite strong. So next turn, let's look at the top card. Well, we'll draw anyways. Draw the Elvish Mystic, and then we'll look at top card. Oh my god, that's a Guy's Cradle. Yeah, it's a Guy's Cradle. I'll play the Cradle. Then, do we want to start going on Beatstown? Let's look at top card. Oh, it's a Moonlit Hunt. Okay, so let's attack. Draw 2 first. We have another werewolf. Great. So we want to play the werewolf here because we wanna trigger this on the next cycle. So let's play the werewolf. I think we also have Coven, right? 2, 1, 3. Yeah. So what's the top card? Oh, that's a creature. Oh, hell yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. We have 1 open, and then we have 3 mana open. Yeah, let's play the Vivian at this point, and then we chill. If someone gets jumpy, we can play the Trickery, but if not, we can drop 5 mana for Master Wild Hunt, and then the Elvish Mystic. And then we draw a card, everything flips. And then look at the top card, it's a Eternal Witness. Yeah, so this is pretty good already. We want to flip this real quick. We only have one werewolf here. So he's a what? He's a 2/2 of menace. So, we also get a wolf. Does this thing have flash? It does have flash. So maybe, I think we connect first with these 3. Yeah, we're gonna flip. Connect. I'm not gonna put mana in yet. If there's someone close to dying, this is actually pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 mana. That's 8, 9, 10, 11. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 12. So, yeah, that's 12 damage from Tovolar. We could push it up a little bit if we want to. 13, 14, 15 damage, but there's no need to do that. So, that is something we could do, but I'd rather just put 4 damage in than kill him on the next cycle. Then we'll draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Alright, what's the top card? That's a Summerball Sage. So, I think at this point, I'll play this land. Then, I will use this over here for the Oof. This over here for the Torpor Orb. And then we pass. If everyone gets jumpy, we still have the Tibalt's Trickery. But then we also have this if we want to kill a creature. But now that we have the Torpor Orb and also the Oof, I think it might be a little difficult for them to win if they haven't won by now. And end step, we can flash in this and biorhythm someone. Oh wow, it's a Beastmaster's Ascension. Cool. That's one game. That's how we'll play it. Let's try another one real quick. Here's hand number 2. Let's take a look. This is a turn 2 Tovolar, potentially with Dockside and a turn 1 thingy. Let's not keep this hand. Let's pretend we have to mull for stacks. Let's say it's high stakes, final game of a tournament, top 4 somehow with this deck, and there's 2 storm decks, and we're going first. If we're going third, we're not gonna. Maybe we'll play for stacks, but let's say we're going first. So we cannot keep this hand because it's just too risky. So let's mull. This is unkeepable. 6. Oh, this is interesting. Turn 1, play the exploration, play the land. I only have a braid. That's 6. The Magus. The Magus is almost what made this keepable, but we'll go to 5. I think we keep this one. Since we're playing first, we're gonna move this to the bottom. Then we're gonna have to move. This is rough. I think. I'll move the Beastmaster to the bottom. The reason why I want to move the Beastmaster to the bottom is because I want to draw another card to feed the Chromox so I can have a Werewolf to draw cards eventually. Beastmaster doesn't do anything right now. But if I have to, I use the Werewolf. This is a decent hand because turn 1 we'll have 2 mana open for Tibalt's Trickery. And if we're not forced to Trickery, then we can Worldly Tutor for... It'll feel real bad, but we can Worldly Tutor for Collector Oof if we really want to. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Draw. Oh, it's a forest. That's not that bad. That turning off our Chromox is not going to be as bad. So play this, crack it. I'm going to look for Stomping. What is the... It's Taiga. I'm going to find Taiga. We get a Taiga. We get a Taiga. And then we exile the Werewolf here. Then we pass the turn. Oh, we're so stupid. Why do we do that? There's no way we have interaction as a gruul deck. Haha. Get barked. Bark. Tybalt's trickery. Flip that Adnos and appear in the abyss, and we still lose. But let's say we don't lose. Then on upkeep, we will... this is interesting. I think we don't collect a oof yet. I would hold on to it. Because if we draw now, then we play Tovolar. Then next turn, if we want a oof, it's not as big of a deal. Because then we have Tovolar, and we can start drawing more things. So let's just play it like that. They did not win turn 1, so the other players might be able to interact with each other a little bit more. So I think that's why that's capable. All right, let's try now. Now let's pretend I have to. I'm scared, so I'm gonna do that. Get the collector oof. Get the oof. Play the oof. Get oofed, and then I draw the card. Attack. Draw a card. Never punished. Here's a land. Wow, so good. So, did I tap my mana? No, I did not tap my mana. I did tap my mana. Oh, I did it right though. I tapped it for Whirly Tutor. Did not cheat. Y'all saw it. Okay, never punish, gang. And then we'll play another couple more cycles. We can't use this anymore. And then we'll play... We don't even play that shit right now. We have 2... We should hit first draw and then see what we have. I'll play the land, never punished. Never punished, gang. We could flip them if we want to, but it's not that big of a deal. And then we draw a card. We'll play the cage. Yeah, play the cage. Actually, no. Draw a card. Attack. Draw. Play the land. See how many lands we're hitting? This is great. Because even if we can't do anything, we sink it all into the Tovolar and flip them. So, it's not that bad, but I do want to play the cage. Do I? Yeah, I do want to play the cage. You want to add Nos and LED? Eat this. We also have Scoos. We'll attack with Scoos, but not draw off of it. Alright, the last cycle. Closing Grip. Yeah, this is feeling pretty good. So at this point, we just attack, draw a card, flip, and we have Closing Grip. We don't have enough mana to keep sinking into things, so we'll stay like that. And then if they get jumpy, we'll eat them. If they don't get jumpy, we'll drop this over here to make our Tovolar a little bit bigger. Draw a card, play a land, attack, draw a card. They might be like in commander damage range now, so yeah, that's another hand. We'll do one last one. Same scenario. We're playing first, maybe second, doesn't matter. We're playing early in the pod, and we have to keep a Stax piece. We have to have a game plan to disrupt our opponents, because we don't feasibly think we can live. So let's see what that looks like. Hand 1. The Torpor Orb is okay. I wish we had like a dork. Having a dork here would be much better. But we can mull this. Torpor Orb's back. This time we have a turn 1 drop. We have a turn 1 Wolf with a Recruiter. Torpor Orb turns off Recruiter, which kind of sucks, but not that big of a problem. They try and win. We have Natural State to break the breach. If they try and win a Thoracle, we have this, but we don't develop a board. So, 7. I'm gonna mull this because we're at 7, but if I were to play this, I think the main decision point is, do we play the Keswick Prowler? Because the Keswick Prowler means we can have a draw by turn 3 when we play Tovolar after the Torpor Orb. So it'd be like this. Then turn 2 we play this. Then turn 3 we play Tovolar, draw a card. Hopefully that's enough to stop them. But too risky, I think. A little too risky if we're playing for prizes. So I'm gonna mull this. Going to 6. I did say we're playing second, right? So playing second, That means we have 2 mana for a Outland Liberator. Outland Liberator. It's not bad. If we make it to turn 2 where we can use mana for Outland Liberator, that might be enough to stop a breach deck. And then if we can flip them, we can start drawing cards at 6. We also have a Mana Dork, and we can also Chord of Calling for the oof. So let's keep it. All right, I'm gonna. Oh wow, this is gonna be a pretty small hand. I will play this. Eat the messenger. Do I want to eat the messenger? I do want. No, we're playing for the thing, so we're gonna eat the messenger. Play this. Draw a card for. Oh, Tovolar Trickery. Hello. But we are gonna play the Outlander, because if we don't play the Outlander and just hold up for Tovolar Trickery, we're not doing anything for a whole cycle. So we kind of have to gamble on that one. Do that. If we're lucky, if we're really, really lucky, someone does not have a turn 1 play, but we're playing a high stakes here. They must have mulligan to something with a turn 1 play, so we're gonna assume it doesn't flip. Draw a card. We have a Werewolf. We also have the land of Werewolves. If we hit the land, that would have been great, but not a problem. We want to leave mana open for the breach disruption. So we'll hit someone. We'll play the land of Werewolves. Yeah, we have to guarantee our Tovolar, so we'll do that. Then this cycle might give us a flip. No, they won't let us flip it because they'll know. Well, actually, it's okay. So this is like super hypothetical, but you can politic with another player to be like, look, if you don't have any good plays, you can let me flip it. I swear I will not hit your rocks. I'll hit the Storm player's rocks. I'll hit their mana crypt with the thing. You might be able to politic them into doing that, which is kind of cool. Which is something I do like about the Werewolf or like a Daybound Nightbound mechanic. If you played the pre-release, this mechanic makes players. It kind of messes with how they play. Sometimes they feel like they have to play a spell on a timing that they don't want to play it just because they don't want to let you have a flip. So we could leverage that as a political tool here as well. So let's pretend that they do take us up on that offer, and either someone does a vamp tutor or something like that, or maybe they don't. But if they do let us have it, then this is gonna get pretty nutty. We'll draw a card. Land. It's not a land. Well, we'll still eat the rock. Do we play Tovolar now? No, I'm gonna play a super safe. So I'm gonna play the Prowler here, because me missing this one draw this turn, I can recuperate it by the second turn with this Prowler attacking next turn. Then also we have mana open for the Tovolar Trickery, and they're not gonna go for a breach line as long as we have mana open for the Trap Breaker. So yes, that's what we're doing. Let's assume we have to spend this. Draw. It's not a land. Give us a land. It's fine though. We'll play our Tovolar. This is turn 4 now. We draw 2. 1, 2. There's our land and a Mox Diamond. We're not gonna play the Mox Diamond just so we don't feed a Dockside. Don't Kingmake your pod. Stomping Ground. Leave that mana open forever. Always threaten with that Trap Breaker. Bark. We'll play a little bit more and then we'll stop. Draw. Play this land. Oh, that's awesome. And then we flip all of our humans, which is just himself. So we have 3 werewolves. Let's connect first. Let's draw 3. Wow. Okay. Okay, so we play the mana crypt. Because I played 2 spells, they flip back, I think. I think so. Yeah. It turns into night, and then it'll turn back to day. So, do we want to set up for Druid's Repository? Or play more werewolves? A lot of options. Or do we Chord of Calling for the oof now? This kind of depends on board state. I think if maybe we don't play the mana crypt, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we get the oof. We have 2 mana to play with, which is a naturalist. So our options here is we can oof and play a creature if we're really concerned about the Underworld Breach win, or really want to like mess with their game plan. Master of the Hunt would be good if the table wants to control the board. For example, there's a mid-range deck and they're trying to play out some creatures that are a little intimidating, like a Thrasios, and you need to get rid of it. And you also don't want to let them keep a Crom to hit you or whatever. Master of the Wild Hunt, I think, is pretty good because now you're building a board for no mana. You're removing anything you want to remove. And yeah, I think that's pretty good. Druid's Repository is interesting. For 3 mana, you can get a lot of mana and play a lot more spells next turn. But our turn cycle this time would give us the Druids and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. If we convoke, it's still 4, not 5. Let's make the interesting play. Let's take the Repository. 1, 2, 3. Floating and colorless. And you don't need to float a colorless here, actually. We'll just do it like this. Play the Naturalist. Yeah, Naturalist. Then we pass. Everyone turns back to humans because we played 2 spells. Then the next cycle, we'll play this cycle over here and stop. Last cycle, everyone turns back into werewolves because of Tovolar's front side, so they're not werewolves again. Bark bark. Also, we're destroying artifacts. Then we'll draw a card. It's a land. We'll play the land. We don't need to play land yet. So they've taken how many Tovolars? Twice, which is 8 damage. 8 puts them at what? 13? 13 commander. If we need to, we will kill someone's 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is it whenever a creature you control attacks, you put a charge? So 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then the 13 over here from the plus. Well, it's just 12 mana. 12 mana. So that ends up being 10, which puts him at 14. Can't kill someone this cycle. But he does get +1/+1. So what we'll do is we're just gonna connect first. We're not gonna pump anyone. We're not gonna need to kill anyone yet. We can't do it yet. But we'll draw 4 cards, have a floating mana. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have another 4 mana off of the Druid's Repository. Now we'll play the land. Now we can do anything we want. I guess we just play our board. Yeah. We just play our board. And we can Magus if we want to. We can collect a Oof and Magus. I don't know. A lot of things. Depends on the board state. But I do feel pretty good because I have a deflecting SWAT. I feel like they would have forced me by now to break this. So let's, I don't know, pretend it's gone or something. But yeah, I feel pretty good about it. We always had the Oof. Now we have another form of disruption to get. What else? If we wanted to, we can control the table with a Master Wild Hunt. And also, if the game looks really grindy and no one wants to make real big moves, and you feel kind of safe because there's a blue player there, or some players to stop each other, the Hound Tamer is actually pretty good here, because if we play the Hound Tamer, every single turn we're just sinking our extra mana that we're not going to be using into growing our creatures. So it's pretty good. What's our next card? Rexage. So thanks for watching. That is our Tovolar deck highlight. AWOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOO decklist, duplicate it, do what you want to it, add an actual win con if you want, put it in Embercleave, whatever you want, natural order into a Crater Hoof. There's so much you can do with it, but seems pretty cool. Seems pretty cool from that playtesting. I feel like it could be pretty good, but kind of hard to tell right now because I haven't played as much gruul stacks or lists like this without rule of law effects. So pretty excited to try this out. Keep an eye out on the channel for more Midnight Hunt deck videos. I'm gone now. Bark bark.